I bow to you all, for you are the seekers of truth. When we talk of truth, we must understand at the very outset that truth is what it is. We cannot mold it with our human awareness. We cannot organize it. And we cannot change it at all. So what is the truth? The truth is that we are not this body, this intellect, emotions, this ego, the conditionings, but we are the spirit. And the second truth is that there is a subtle, all-pervading divine power which is doing all the living work. For example, we see the flowers and we take them for granted. Bernard Shaw has said that if you just watch your eyes, you'll be surprised what a camera it is. So, all living things we take for granted, and we do not inquire as to how these things are worked out and how all these living processes are going on around. Now we have, supposing, come from amoeba stage to this stage. How we have come? We didn't do anything. And how is it we have become human beings? And why have we become human beings? When I first saw the mandate of United Nations, when my husband was elected, I was very happy because what it was saying is exactly what we have to do. Is to become collective in a way to have collective benevolence. But outwardly and superficially, we cannot become collective. We have to become inwardly collective, and for that something has to happen to us. Because if we were so easily collective, we would have absolute knowledge and there would not have been any difference of opinion. Everybody would have said the same thing, because if it is absolute truth, it has to be absolute for everyone. On the contrary, everybody is saying they are the truth, and it seems they are all absolutely juxtaposition with each other. So what is the thing that we are missing? Whether it is religion, philosophy, thinking, or all the philosophies of the world. I feel in the United Nations, one has to get self-realization. Unless and until you get your self-realization, this collectivity, which is the nature of your spirit, will not manifest. The spirit is the collective being within us. And when it manifests, you are amazed at yourself that you can feel the centers, subtle centers of another person on your fingertips, and you can feel the subtle centers of your being also on your fingertips. In Quran it's very nicely described that at the time of resurrection your hands will speak. So when you get your realization, you can feel it on your fingertips, all the subtle centers about which he was talking to you about. These to be understood later on. But the first thing is, you must ask for your enlightenment. It's a myth when we say that we are enlightened, we are born again, or we are this and we are that. Unless and until you become spirit, in the real sense of the word, that it's an actualization of the experience, we are not to believe into it, because that kind of a belief is just blind and is not for our benevolence or for the benevolence of the whole world. So this breakthrough in the evolutionary process has to take place. But for that, one has to remember that as we have not paid for our evolution so far, we cannot pay for it. First of all people who talk of payment, you must know that there's something false behind it. because you cannot pay for it. Like if you have to sow a seed, you don't pay anything to the Mother Earth. You may pay for the hall, you may pay for the car, but you can't pay for your self-realization. This is first thing to be understood very clearly. But I find in the Western countries, it's difficult for people to understand this point. I was surprised that the BBC people, such a well-equipped and sensible, they told me very frankly that Anglo-Saxon brain cannot understand anything without money. Now I said, who has made this Anglo-Saxon brain? First of all. The second point is that you believe in Christ. How much money did you pay to Christ? How much money did you pay to Buddha? How much money did you pay to Mahavira? Or to Nanaka? Or to anyone like that? They worked so hard for you. What did you do for them? Nothing but to torture. I never listened to them. The truth is so important today for us that all our problems are there only because we have not felt the truth. You are talking now about imbalances. You are talking of physical problems, of drugs, and also of AIDS and all other such things. All these can be cured and completely prevented if you become the spirit. You will be amazed. Because when this Kundalini rises, she touches that all-pervading vital power, and you are blessed with all your physical, mental, emotional upliftment. Not only that, but complete nourishment. Because this little point was left out, we are suffering. Ecological problems can be solved very easily if you get into your balances. For example, we use machines or anything, we go to extremes. We have no balance. Actually, the mental projection is a linear movement. But if it has no support with the reality, it recoils back on you. Even science. Science, of course, we must say that science has done a lot of harm in a way because it has produced atomic bombs and all that. But also the science also tells us this is wrong. We are going too far with it. We should stop. But we don't pay any heed to it. This is our own mistake, that we have to understand that there is a kind of a balance which is needed in our own lives, in our own temperament, in our own being. But supposing if you force yourself, you cannot do it. If you tell yourself, no, you must be balanced. You should have balanced food. You should have balanced life. You cannot. Because as at the human awareness, you cannot. But once you become the spirit, it automatically works out. Now in this diagram you'll see there are 3 channels which are shown, and also there are centers which are shown here, which are 7 in number. Now the centers are something like this, I would say, and this is the left and the right side, 2 sympathetic nervous system. And in the center is the parasympathetic nervous system. Doctors call it as an autonomous nervous system. But who is the auto? And who controls the auto? And how to reach the auto is the problem. Supposing you have a tree, very much grown, you must know it has to have roots down below. And if it has not got those roots developed, it's about to fall off. So this is the knowledge of the roots. And as scientists, you must have an open mind about it. Absolutely an open mind. Take it as a hypothesis. And if it works, as honest people, you have to accept. For example, my husband always said that you are a saint. I know, you are an awliya. He used to say that. But I can't believe you can make anybody like you. It's a different thing. It's a different category. But these days, these categories are born. So many are seeking the truth. Never in the history of spirituality you had so many people who are seeking the truth. They are misled, I know, and they are used, exploited, agreed But there are seekers. So I call it a blossom time. This is a special time when this has to happen. But people have to have seriousness about it. I mean, in the society that I move, as you know, there's another society also I have, in which I find people talking like this. This guru is very good, is expensive but very good. And the one gave some bargains and another has lowered some prices. If you are going to judge your guru by how much money he takes or how much you can save, then it's such a money-oriented nonsense. It cannot be anything divine. Divine doesn't understand money. Never. So once you understand this simple point, you'll be able to reach the truth very easily, that if you have to seek the truth, it's a living process within you which has to work it out. And when it works out, then only you can feel that beautiful surrounding, all-pervading power about which all the religions have described. Now, if you go even to religions which have only talked of the formless God, or some who have talked of the form, there's one common point they have said. Seek the eternal. All of them have said, seek the eternal and use the temporary with all understanding in its own limitations. But you can't do it. That's the trouble. We just can't keep ourselves into those limitations. If we take to drinking, we become drunkards. If we take to work, we become work alcoholics. If we take to anything, we go to extremes. Only thing that really gives us the complete balance is the spirit. Now how? Because spirit is like the light. Supposing you are holding a snake in your hand, and if somebody tells you you are holding a snake in your hand and it's all darkness, then one may say, no, it's not, it's a rope. How can you argue? Till the snake bites the person, he is not going to leave the snake. Best thing is to put on the light. And in that light, he can see and he can throw away the snake. This is how today's Sahaja Yoga is working. Sahaja means born with you is the right to be united with this divine power. Yoga doesn't mean standing on your heads, or it doesn't mean breaking your knees. It doesn't mean that at all. If you see Patanjali Yoga, then in the Patanjali, he has written it into 8 ashtangas, into 8 folds, out of which Yama Niyama is a wee bit, out of which the exercise is even much a smaller percentage. Also, it is said very clearly that when your Kundalini rises, then you must do this center, or this center is being augmented, constricted, then you have to use a particular type of an exercise. Patanjali Yoga is such a big book. But those people who just make it a physical one do not understand that we are not only physical beings. If we were only physical being, I get many wrestlers coming to me to say that, Mother, we have no peace. Will you give us peace? We are much more than physical being. We are physical being, we are mental being, we are emotional being, above all we are spiritual being. And that spiritual being has to manifest. That manifestation has to take place in our awareness. Then so many things happen to us. First of all, as I told you, that with this connection, this vital energy starts flowing through you. Now this energy has got so many qualities. First is it comforts you. It comforts you. In the sense, it cures you automatically. It is your own power cures you. Of course it is true. Through Sahaja Yoga, people have been cured of blood cancer, of very serious diseases. And if you allow me, I would say that AIDS also has been cured with surgery in Australia, no doubt. But such complications that in this country you cannot cure anyone. I mean, I don't cure, but even your Kundalini cures, you may be arrested for that. And in all the Western countries, this is a problem. And in India, an AIDS patient cannot come. All such complications are there. But these things are so easily cured if you allow your Kundalini to rise. And now doctors have accepted it. I must say, Russians, whatever you may say about their regimes and all that, forget about it. I'm not interested in their politics. But the people are so wise and so sensible. The doctors and Nobel Prize winners so sensible, so serious-minded. They have taken to Sahaja Yoga so seriously. I am amazed that what's the use of our democracy that we had all over, that we did not understand the importance of our ascent, that we have to find something. We are so satisfied with ourselves, whatever we have. We talk of ecological problems, this problem, that problem. But we don't think how we can get out of it. We never bother to see what will help us. People talk of spirituality here and there. It's a serious thing one has to understand. If United Nations has to express itself in reality, then I would say the people of United Nations must get their self-realization first. And then they can understand what they are, how great they are, how glorious they are, so many ways and so many powers they have which they can use. And this is the power of love, which we have never used. Actually, when you read about United Nations, you think it is conceived as a thing that works on the power of love. But where is that power of love? That is this all-pervading power. You become extremely dynamic, extremely active, extremely sensible, wise, but above all, extremely compassionate. And this is what has to happen to us. It is not a lip service. We cannot sit on the table and talk of peace. I have known people who have got Nobel Prize in Peace. They are the hottest people you could ever think of, I tell you. I don't know how they got this prize, maybe for some sort of a thing they did on a very superficial level. But the person who is not peaceful within himself, how can he spread peace? You have to have your own peace within yourself. You have to feel your peace within yourself, and then only you can do something about it. And a person who has achieved that, even the presence of such a person can emit that peace that we are talking about. So I have to request you all as members of United Nations, because my husband has been there for 16 years, as you know, and he had to resign, otherwise they would not allow him to get out. I told him that unless and until you resign, I won't be able to talk like this to them. But it's a fact, I must tell you. As members of United Nations, all of you have to ask for your self-realization, to understand yourself fully well, and then you will see how dynamic you become. All your problems get immediately solved, because you become detached from your problems and you can see them better, you can solve them better. I mean, this knowledge is such a lot that I cannot cover the whole subject in one lecture. I must have given thousands of lectures only in English language. But I would say that, like these lights are here, and if I have to tell you about electricity, how it has come, how it was discovered and all that, it's a headache. It's better I tell you that you put on the light. So it's better that we have our light and see for ourselves in our light what's our problem is. People get mad, they don't know they are getting mad. People get cancer, they don't know they are getting cancer. They are all the time under fear. This might happen to me, that might happen to me. But with Sahaja Yoga, immediately you know what's wrong with you. And if you know how to correct it, it hardly takes any time. But the transition between the awakening of the Kundalini and mastering it is hardly 1 month's time. But even that much patience people if don't have, how are we going to work on? But it's very amazing. Just think of it. It's very amazing that the Eastern Bloc people are so easily taken to it, that Russians are so easily taken to it, while we, who have the freedom to express ourselves, freedom to do what we like, are not so good. I must confess that I really was astounded the way these people reacted. What's wrong with us? Why shouldn't it happen to us here? And I just cannot put my finger onto anything as such. While all kinds of falsehood we accept, all kinds of falsehood. I mean, if somebody comes and says, all right, you dance, so we think we are spiritual. Anything. But nobody has been able to deliver the goods. I always say, if you have a guru, what have you got from your guru? I am your mother, say, I would like to know, what powers have you got? Now, this gentleman who spoke to you today, do you know how many people he has given realization to? How many things he has done? There are many sitting here who have been doing all these things. They look just like you, simple people, leading a very simple life and a very sane life. Good people, as I would say, my husband says, they're all angels. But they have become angels. Some of them were drug addicts. Some of them were very immoral. Some of them were absolutely lost cases. And see, where are they? And why can't we learn this art? It's so simple, so easy. You don't have to pay it. It's your own. This is what sometimes I can't understand. And I'll be very happy if you can ask me some questions about it. But I really request you people to take it up seriously and work it out. When people will see how you are changed, how you are transformed, how you have become dynamic, they will definitely follow you. You cannot force it on it. That's the only problem, is that your freedom is to be respected. We cannot say that you have to take your realization. You have to understand yourself mentally and to ask for it. Otherwise it cannot be forced. But I would like to have some questions from you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Perfect clarity. Yes.
I would like to ask, in the United States, I think for transcendental yoga has been widely spread, and I know they have many centers. I'd like to know what Sahaja yoga differs from transcendental yoga.
It's a very controversial subject. But if you want me to tell you the truth, I can tell you the truth without any fear. I came to know about transcendental meditation when I was in London. A gentleman contacted me saying that he would like to see me. So I said, why? He said, I'm suffering from epilepsy. My wife is suffering from epilepsy. My daughter is suffering from epilepsy. I said, all right, come and have. I would like to see you. Come. So I gave him a time, he came down. I was amazed when he told me that he was the head of the flying foundation of the transcendental meditation. And his deputy director also had come. And when I asked him, what is this transcendental meditation? I was amazed at the whole thing. He told me that we had to do 3 mantras, for which they had to pay 300 pounds each. I said, what are those mantras? First he was hesitating. I said, you have to tell me the mantras, otherwise I will not be able to say what it is, why you have got epilepsy. He said the first mantra was Inga, second was Pinga, and third was Tinga. If there's any Indian gentleman here, he will know what it means. Inga means the bite of a scorpion. It's not a Sanskrit word. Pinga means when person gets possessed, he goes round and round, that's Pinga. And Tinga means when you show like a thumb. For that they paid 300 pounds. And they were told not to talk about it to anyone. Now this is coming from the head of that foundation, who was suffering from epilepsy. This poor fellow, he became ultimately bankrupt. His wife was the granddaughter of a duke in England. Of course, they were all cured. They are all right. But he had to go away to South Africa. He was a diamond merchant. He lost everything as a bankrupt. Then so many came from there. And so many who had become just recluses. They could not see the garlic or they could not see a lemon. If he showed them the lemon, they used to tremble. In the beginning, they said we felt very much elated. Of course, about this I'll tell you later on about how our souls are and how our souls can be possessed. You asked me directly, so I have to tell you very directly, madam, that the second thing they did was to start a Siddha course, they called it, for which they charged £6,000, and people had to go to Switzerland to stay in hotels, and they were given some mats to jump because they were supposed to fly in the air, so-called. First of all, why do you want to fly in the air halfway like that? Imagine already there are such problems of traffic. Because of that I was delayed. And so many people paid £6,000 for that. Now the food that was given for 6 days is authentic absolutely. For 6 days was the water that boiled potatoes. 6 days. And the 7th day was the rain, and the 8th day they were given the potatoes to eat. And they were told that you have to do it if you have to fly in the air. So many of them broke their bottoms and broke their bones, pelvic bones, is a fact. And I think the Guru must have felt what stupid people these are, so he used to giggle all the time. He was called as a giggly Guru. Now, if people are that stupid, what can you do about it? And they don't know. I said, why don't you ask them, why this mantra? Why? What is this? For what? In Sahaja Yoga, you know each and everything. Of course, after realization, you have to know all about the mechanism. You have to know about what is the, say for example, a Kundalini stops at this center of optic chiasma, then you have to say Lord's Prayer. You have to say Allahu Akbar at this point. So many there are. But this is so scientific that you can see the movement of the Kundalini. All kinds of stupid things people do. Somebody says the Shaktipat, somebody says that, and people become really mad after that. First of all, what knowledge did you get? Put it that question. You must go and see the disciples. What knowledge there is? Nowadays, supposing somebody started Ayurveda, we don't need any guru for that. You can go to Ayurveda anytime. It's like just your medicine. You don't need any guru to go to any doctor, do you? But we are so dumb. In here, I don't know how people accept these things. Still, I can't understand. There's a lady who has laser beams, put it like that, you see, from all sides. And for one meeting like this, she takes 3,000 pounds. 3,000 pounds. That too in Rome. Can you believe it? Because you've asked me the question, I have to tell you, this is what it is going on, madam. And for Chinese especially, you be very careful. They are very vulnerable because now you all have become very rich and they only cling on to rich people. So be very careful. First of all, you must find out what are the disciples like, what are they doing, and how they are doing. I talked about it in 1970. Openly I told their names and gave the names what devils they are. But nobody would listen to me. Even this Rajneesh, I told about him so many things. And they are the ones who are stopping us even coming to UN and everywhere. Do you know that? They are putting money to many newspapers that I should not be there in any way. Even my advertisement should not appear. But they are all very friendly because Satan doesn't speak against its own house. Christ has said it clearly. They are all very friendly with each other. But we have to know the truth. And the truth is that you have to become the Spirit and you must get the powers of the Spirit. If you do not have the powers of the Spirit, don't listen to all these big, big claims. There's nothing to be claimed about. It is to be achieved, to be actualized. I'm sorry I had to say all this, but one has to say, because she asked me the question about this. Moreover, there's another problem. The another problem is like this, that if you pay money for something, say we go to a theatre and we pay money for a ticket, and then what we find that it's not very good, the play is not very good. But we say, let's have it. You see, we have paid for it. We go through it. And so this commitment, because of payment, is even worse. So you come out from there hurt. I have seen people, their kundalini just like, I cannot tell you how it looks, as if it's being beaten up and trying to rise, putting up her head, and again it falls down. So weak she is. And she is your mother, your individual mother. And she feels so helpless that she cannot give you your self-realization, she cannot give you your second birth, because you have stupidly followed something which was very wrong. Even though I must tell you that Sahaja Yoga works out even such difficult cases. All kinds of things are going on, like somebody brings a diamond or somebody shows some sort of ashes and things. For diamond, you can go to the shop here, you see. What has got to do with diamonds, you see? Or any divinity has to do with diamonds. What do you care for diamonds? So this is a very big problem today. Because we have choices. You see, we have choices of this and choices of that and choices of that. But we have lost that discretion to find out what we should have. And so many people are hurt. I have been talking about it very openly. Nobody has ever come forward before me and said, this is this about Sahaja. I've said all sorts of things about them. Nobody has come forward so far. Nobody said a word about it. Nor did they go to the courts or anywhere against me. They could have done it very easily. But they could not. And because you've asked me today, I better warn you. It's true.
Any other question?
Yes, please.
What is the role of prayer in something like this? Can it be achieved with prayer? And the second question is the change permanent?
What is the role of prayer in Sahaja Yoga?
Role of what?
Of prayer, praying.
Prayer.
And is the change permanent?
Yeah. See now, if you are not connected with the divine, your prayers are like telephoning without the connection. That's why prayers don't help. And people do come and say that we've been praying to God, we've been praying. See now, what's our condition? Which God are you praying to? First of all, you must have your connection. Then even once you remember the name of God, it works. Even once. But you have to have connection. It has a very great role, only if you are connected.
Is the change permanent?
Huh?
Is the change permanent, she's asking.
It is. Once you have to work it out also, that Kundalini rises, pierces through your fontanelle bone area, gives you an actualization of baptism nicely. You should feel the cool breeze coming out of your head and should feel on your hands from all over this cool breeze. But you have to establish this connection properly. Sometimes The Kundalini attends to places where you have sickness, where you have mental problems. So you must learn. That's what I said, 1 month is needed at the most to fix it. Once you are fixed, you are fixed. It's permanent.
Yes, ma'am.
How can one being a, let's say, a traditional Christian practice Sahaja yoga without feeling conflict?
Being a Christian, how can we practice Sahaja Yoga without feeling a conflict?
There's no conflict because this is real Christianity, what Christ has said. You see, the Christianity that you practice is not Christ's Christianity, it's the Christianity of Mr. Paul and later on Mr. Augustine, who had nothing to do with Christ. It's all money-making propositions. I know because I was born in a Christian family. And I asked my father, I said, who is this Mr. Paul in the Bible? I can't understand him. He said, same here, he's a stranger. And if you read Khalil Gibran, he has given a big chapter on this gentleman, Mr. Paul. There's no conflict at all. What's the use of... The other day you must have seen these fundamentalists, Christian fundamentalists jeering at Gorbachev, who's a great man, no doubt about it. Because they think they are very great. What have they achieved? Christians, what have they achieved? Tell me. You see, in India, what I know about Christians is they take a gun in one hand and a Bible in another hand. That's what they are. Let us face it. What have they done? What good have they done, the so-called Christians? Where we are sitting today in this America, what have they done? Where are the people gone who lived here, who owned this country? Thank God Columbus came this side, otherwise our India, if he had reached, we would have been not there anymore. Finished. Same about Hindus, same about Muslims, and same about all the people. These are all man-made religions. Religion is within ourselves. And when it is awakened, you will really know how righteous you are. Anybody, whether you are a Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, any religion you may follow. You can commit any sin. There's no bondage. No bondage. You can tell lies, you can murder anyone. You don't stop because you are a Christian, you don't stop because you are a Hindu, you don't stop anything. But Christ was such a subtle person. What he said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. How many Christians have you met without adulterous eyes? Subtleties of Christ. You can achieve it. You can definitely achieve it through your self-realization. The first thing he said and the last thing he said is know thyself.
There was another question.
You will enjoy your Christianity and Christ after self-realization. Now, for example, we say that Christ was the Son of God. But many may say, how do you prove that? Very simple in Sahaja Yoga. You put your hands like this. If after realization ask a question, Mother, was Christ the Son of God? And see the vibrations, they start coming. Cool breeze. But ask about somebody horrible, and you might get little burning, or you might get sometimes little blisters. Because you were born in a religion, you follow it. But then you follow him, not blindly, but with an awakened mind.
I may just say that, of course, we're very happy. There is one question I'm going to pass, but we're all very happy to answer questions. However, I also want to inform you that generally Shri Mataji agrees to grant session of guided collective meditation at the end, whereby most of the people can feel this raising of the Kundalini. So by all means ask questions, but of course the time we devote to the question is the time that we push the experience further down, and some of you might have to go back at some point. So the question now, Shri Mataji, was simply what is the role of vegetarianism? It's not so much emphasized in your teachings, but it's very much emphasized in other teachings.
You see, this is also an idea which has cropped up sometime during the time of Sri Krishna. His cousin was a Neminath, who was a Jain gentleman. And they used to all eat meat and everything. Krishna, Rama, everybody ate meat. But what happened that his marriage was to be celebrated in the marriage. He saw all these things, so many goats and birds and all, and he felt a kind of a nausea about it. So he didn't marry. And also, he said, let's become vegetarians. That's how the vegetarianism started in India. Now, that has spread all over now. And later on, the vegetarianism has gone to such a limit among Jains that you have no idea. That you cannot kill bugs, you cannot kill viruses, you cannot kill anything, because they are all living things, you see. And apart from that, they get a Brahmin, pay him a lot of money, put him in a hut, and put all the bugs inside the hut. And the bugs have to suck in the blood, and when they are all satisfied, they pay money to the Brahmin and go away. It's cruelty. So now, what is the balancing point? Is this, that whatever is required for the body should be eaten, but the animal which is bigger than you should not be eaten, because that animal's muscle, as you know, muscle cells are bigger than your muscle cells, and they might harm your teeth, they might harm your tongue. So if you save the chickens, am I going to give them realization? But those who have eaten too much of non-veg food should take to vegetarianism, is a good idea. But not that those who need non-veg food should not take it. It's not what you eat is so important. It's all funny ideas that have come. It is what you get as the spirit. Christ used to eat meat. Muhammad Sahib used to eat meat. Nanakai used to eat meat. Kabira used to eat meat. They were all bad people, and those who are vegetarians, so-called, are the very nice people. In India, I must tell you, those who are strict vegetarians are one of the worst clans. No doubt about it. Because they are extremely cruel. Extremely cruel people. You can ask anyone, who are the vegetarians? And you'll be surprised. They are very money-oriented, always run after money, and they are just like, we can call them Shylock type. Very money-oriented people, extremely money-oriented. But if you don't like, you don't eat. There's no force about it. But somebody who eats because he needs it, is in no way comes in your spirituality. No way. I may not eat, but I don't expect you not to eat. It's an individual question, it's an individual problem of a level that is not so much concern. Also, like Rajneesh used to say, or Freud would say, that sex plays part in your spirituality is absolutely wrong. It does not. Because here you can see the seventh center, which is we call as the Muladhara, which is looking after the pelvic plexus, which is responsible for all excretion inclusive of sex, is below the Kundalini. So when the Kundalini rises, all your excretion process stops. That's why Christ has said, if you have to come to the kingdom of God, you have to become like small children, innocent. And you do, because all these things stop. when the ascent of the Kundalini takes place.
Sure. You are incorrigible, go ahead.
Well, I have another one then, because what you're saying is needs to be understood when all other spiritual teachers have said that it's very important to abstain. That if you're using the sexual drive, you are wasting that energy that can be used to rise up, to awaken the Kundalini, or to rise up higher. It seems that all spiritual masters and others have suggested to restrain from sexual activity.
No, I think there is a little misunderstanding. Shri Mataji did not say to refrain. Shri Mataji said sexuality has nothing to do with Kundalini.
Yes, that I better
awakening.
correct that.
Yes.
No. Never I said that. I said it does not play part in the ascent of the Kundalini. But sex in a sane way is important. Absolutely important. If somebody is not married or somebody calls himself a sannyasi, we tell him you better change your ideas. The Kundalini doesn't rise. It's a fact. Kundalini tells you. She is the best judge. And that's why while speaking to you I was a little hesitant. There's one gentleman who hasn't got realization as yet in London, only one, who is not married, you see. I don't know what to do with him. I must confess it is true. I mean, what can I do about it? I don't mean it. I would love to do that, but somehow he is not getting a realization. I think a sane marriage gives you a balance, a good family, and it's your responsibility to produce a good family, to produce good children. Perhaps that is what is expected. But I think it's a misunderstanding because I said only that part. I mean, at the time of realization.
Thank you for the clarification. Do we have any other questions?
No, if any such misunderstanding, you must ask me. Because it's a very short lecture and maybe some points are left out. It's better ask me. So there should be no misunderstanding about things.
Christ was not married.
Sorry?
Christ was not married.
Christ was not married, she says.
Yeah, he's different.
He is different, she says.
You crucified him so fast. He could only preach for 4 years. Christ was different. It's very different. You will understand his nature, what he was. And then you will know why he did not need any marriage. Yes, Mataji.
Some are born eunuchs, he said, for the sake of the kingdom.
Well, yes, I mean, I can give you other quotes, but I think she says, Christ said, some are born eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom.
Huh?
He said that.
Yeah,
What is it?
it's written in the Bible,
Uh-huh.
some are born eunuch for the sake of the kingdom, meaning some are not having relationships.
That's little subtler. I think you better get your realization first, and then you will know what it is. You see, also to read Bible, not the Paul part, because it's only organizational, you must get your self-realization. Even to read Gita, you must get your self-realization, otherwise you can be confused.
Maybe we can have the question in private later on at the end of the program. But should we, I mean, if people have other questions, I suggest at the end maybe they can come down and ask them directly. And Shri Mataji, would you be, this is what I would suggest if you would be prepared, Shri Mataji. Should we have perhaps an experience of collective meditation? I mean, would you like it? Would you like to have the experience?
Yes.
All right. I mean, as I told you, it cannot be forced. A very simple thing is. It's thing is that you have to ask for it. It cannot be forced. And it is vital that we should get it. All other vital things we have got spontaneously, without any trouble as human beings. But this is another stage. Say we have become human beings from amoeba or from, say, monkeys. But now what we are going to become, we are going to be empowered that we can transform people, that we can nourish the nature. So because of this jump that we have to have in our awareness and in our strength, we have to understand what it is. Because God has given us brains to understand. And everything is logical. Absolutely logical. You can judge for yourself and see for yourself. That is the reason why somebody has to tell you, decode it and tell you everything. And then once you know it, you can also tell others. But it cannot be done in the way we have got this human awareness. It's a much higher awareness about which I'm talking. And for that, somebody has to tell you all the subtleties or the decoding. But that doesn't mean that it's something obligatory for you. I personally think it's nothing for me because whatever I have. It's nothing great. I don't think it's something great to have something born with it. But it's definitely great for you to achieve it. And that's the thing I respect. That you have achieved all these powers yourself. So there's no obligation at all, in no way. So at the very outset, I have to tell you there are two conditions we have to have. The first condition is that we have to forget the past and forgive ourselves. That not to feel guilty at all. I mean, it's something like a myth that we start feeling guilty. As a result, we catch on this center here, the left side of the Vishuddhi as we call it. And this center when you catch, you can get spondylitis, you can get paralysis, you can get angina. So it is useless to feel guilty. After all, we are human beings, we are not gods. So if you have done mistakes, what is there to feel guilty? Let the Kundalini find out. Why should we judge ourselves? That means you forget your past, forget your guilts and mistakes and everything, and you have to be very pleasantly placed towards yourself. Because now you are going to enter into the kingdom of God. So you should be very pleasantly placed towards yourself. You have to respect. I would say you have to love yourself and know that you are a human being and have self-confidence that you are going to enter into the kingdom of God. This is the first condition. The second one is that you have to forgive everyone. The other day somebody said that to forgive others is very difficult. Now whether you forgive or you don't forgive, you don't do anything. Again logically. You don't do anything. It's just your idea that you don't forgive. And when you don't forgive, you play into the hands which are trying to harm you. The people who are the ones who have tortured you are very happy, while you are the one who is suffering because you cannot forgive. So you have to forgive everyone. This is a very, very important, crucial point. As I told you, that this cross here of the optic chiasma besides Christ What he has told us, he has given us the greatest weapon, is to forgive. And if you don't forgive, you cannot awaken him. And if you cannot awaken him, there are two functions. One is the Kundalini has to pass through, and he sucks in our karmas and our conditionings from, you can see the two balloons there, to open up the limbic area for us, for the Kundalini to pass through. So if you do not forgive, it's going to be difficult for me because I cannot forgive for you. So please, these two conditions you have to fulfill. I hope it's not too much. Now, we have to take the help of the Mother Earth, so if you could take out the shoes, will be much better. Just the shoes, not the socks, but just the shoes. Please come in, there's a lot of space here. Yes, just come. Sit down. Modern yoga is very wonderful, I think, that sitting on the chair you can get your realization. You don't have to do all kinds of asanas. It had to be that way. Now, please remember, as I told you, this left and right side, there are two powers. The left side power is the power of desire, not of pure desire, but desire. The right side is the power of action. So we have to keep both our feet little away from each other. We have to sit comfortably, not bending too much or putting yourself backward too much, but just in a straight manner. And put your left hand towards me like this. This means that you want your self-realization, that you desire your self-realization. Just like this, very comfortably, please put your left hand towards me like this. And with the right hand, we'll be nourishing our centers. So right hand you have to put on your heart. We work only on the left hand side. I'll first show you and then we'll close our eyes and we'll work out the awakening of the Kundalini. Now in the heart resides the spirit. So first we put our hand on the spirit. Then we put our hand on the upper portion of our abdomen on the left hand side. Now this is the center of your mastery. That means by awakening this center you get that power by which you can master the art of Kundalini awakening. Then you take down your hand in the low portion of your abdomen and press it hard. This is the center of pure knowledge. The pure knowledge is that knowledge that you get out of your evolutionary process, which manifests on your nervous system, on your central nervous system. Then again you have to raise your hand in the upper portion of your abdomen. And then on your heart again. Then raise your right hand in the corner of your neck. Here. Neck and your shoulder, and turn your head to your right. This is the center which I told you just now is completely disturbed when you feel guilty. And I think today, with all of you, it has this problem. So again I'll say, please, please, forgive yourself. Then you have to take your right hand onto your forehead across, like this, and press it on both the sides. Put down your head and press it nicely. This is the center for forgiving others. Take back your right hand on the back side of your head and push back your head on it. Let it rest. Here, for your own satisfaction, without counting your mistakes, without feeling guilty, you have to ask forgiveness from the divine power which is all pervading. Now you have to stretch your hand fully and put the center of your palm on top of the fontanelle bone area, which was a soft bone in your childhood. Please put it there exactly. Put down your head nicely. Put down your head. Now push back your fingers as much as you can. Put down your head and push back your fingers. Now push your hand on the scalp nicely so it gives some pressure. And now you have to move your scalp very slowly, clockwise 7 times. Now, this is all we have to do. You can take out your spectacles also, it might help your eyesight. So please take out your spectacles. Now again I repeat, you have to be pleasantly placed towards yourself. Don't feel guilty. You have done nothing wrong in the eyes of the Divine. Please now put your left hand towards me and right hand on your heart, both the feet apart, and now close your eyes. Here, you have to ask a very fundamental question to me. You may call me Shri, Mataji or Mother, whatever you like. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask this question 3 times. Mother, am I the spirit? Please ask this question 3 times in your heart. Now, if you are the spirit, you are your master, you are your guide. So take down your right hand, the upper portion of your abdomen on the left hand side, press it hard. And here ask me another very fundamental question in your heart. Mother, am I my own master? Mother, am I my own guru? Ask this question 3 times. As I have told you that I respect your freedom and I cannot force pure knowledge on you. You have to ask for it. So now take down your right hand, the lower portion of your abdomen, press it hard on the left hand side, and here you please say 6 times because this center has got 6 petals. Mother, please give me pure knowledge. This knowledge has to manifest on your central nervous system, giving you a new dimension. Ask earnestly. As soon as you ask this question, the Kundalini starts rising. So now we have to nourish the upper centers to open the passage for Kundalini to rise. So now you raise your right hand on to the upper portion of your abdomen. Now press it hard on the left hand side. Here now with full confidence in yourself. Please say, Mother, I am my own master. Please say it 10 times because this center has got 10 petals. Please say it with full confidence. Mother, I am my own master. As I have told you in the very beginning, that the truth is you are not this body and you are not this intellect, you are not these emotions and you are not these conditionings or this ego. You are the pure spirit. So now please raise your right hand on your heart and say it again with full confidence 12 times. Mother, I am the Spirit. Mother, I am the Spirit. Please say it 12 times. The divine power, which is all-pervading, is the ocean of knowledge and of love. It is the ocean of benevolence and blessings. But above all, it is the ocean of forgiveness. So, whatever mistakes you might have committed, this ocean of forgiveness has a power to dissolve everything. So please forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Be pleasantly placed towards yourself. And put your right hand in the corner of your neck and your shoulder and turn your head to your right. Here you have to say with full confidence, Mother, I am not guilty at all. Please say it 16 times because this center has got 16 petals. Mother, I am not guilty at all. I have already told you that whether you forgive or don't forgive, you don't do anything. But if you don't forgive, then you play into wrong hands and suffer. So now raise your right hand on top of your forehead and put down your head on your hand properly. Press it on both the sides nicely and say it from your heart. Mother, I forgive everyone. I am saying, say it from your heart. Not how many times, but say it from your heart. Mother, I forgive everyone. Now take back your hand on the back side of your head and push back your head on that hand. Nicely let it rest. Here, please again remember, do not count your mistakes. Do not feel guilty at all, but just for your satisfaction, you push back your head nicely and say, O divine power, If I have done any mistakes, knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive me. Now, please stretch your hand, your palm fully. Put the center of your palm on top of your fontanelle bone area, which was the soft bone in your childhood. Push back your fingers and press your scalp nicely. Here again, I cannot cross over your freedom. You have to ask for self-realization. So now please put down your head and press it hard and move it 7 times your scalp very slowly with a pressure pushing back your fingers. And here you have to say 7 times, Mother, please give me my self-realization. Put down your head nicely. Please, Mother, give me my self-realization. 7 times. Please take down your hands and open your eyes. Now, put both your hands towards me. Now try to think. Now watch me without thought. You can do it. You can watch me without thought. This is the first state you achieve called as thoughtless awareness. Now, put your right hand like this. And right hand like this. And left hand on top of your head. And put it down your head. And put your right hand. And see for yourself, not on the head, but above the head. And see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Put down your head. Please put your right hand like this. Now, please put your left hand towards me and put down your head and see for yourself if there is a cool breeze coming out of your head. With the right hand you can feel it. Now, don't put it on top. You have to put it above it, little away. Some people might get hot heat coming out, that's all right. And some people might get it far away. Doesn't matter. If there's a heat coming out, is all right. The heat has to come out. Now, please put again the right hand. Bend your head again and see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Now, please raise both of your hands like this. Push back your head and ask a question 3 times, any one of these. Mother, is this the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost? Mother, is this the power of love of God? Mother, is this the all-pervading Parama Chaitanya? Ask any one of these questions 3 times. Now don't doubt, because there's air conditioning, you may doubt, but there's nothing to doubt about it. Good. Now take down your hands. All those who have felt the cool breeze or the heat or the cool in their hands, out of their heads or on their hands, please raise both your hands. All those who have felt it. Cool breeze out of your head or in your hands. It's very good. May God bless United Nations. Most of you have felt it. Some have not. Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that something wrong with you. But we have a club here. Thank God this is being registered. You are all welcome. And we have great experts of Sahaja Yoga in New York. That's one thing I must say. We have a great experts of Sahaja Yoga, and they'll tell you each and everything about it, the whole knowledge. Don't have to pay for it. Only a little bit time you have to give. These days we have watches to save time, but we save time to waste it. We have to save time to use it for our ascent. And you don't need much time for this. About 5 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening is more than sufficient. But you must first learn, and you all must become great masters of Sahaja. Next time when I come, I hope I'll be able to see lots of people who have got realization through you. May God bless you all.
Could I ask one question?
Huh?
Could I have one additional question in regarding to this self-realization? When people ask me what do I do as a Sahaja yogi, I had explained what do we do with what you just showed us to do. But they asked me what is this based on to make it work. If this is an appropriate question, then forgive me, but it's
You see, it is actually, it's a state. It's a state of our being. And one's first state is of thoughtless awareness. Second one is doubtless awareness. So you have to rise up to that. And then you know everything yourself. I mean, there's not much to be explained because it becomes part and parcel of, like, I can see clearly this carpet. In the same way, I can clearly feel when I'm a realized soul about everything. So they have to rise up to that level, but not blindly.